economic stability. Economic stability. Economic stability. Economic stability is also another reason. Okay. We want to have balanced growth. Okay, a growth where there is high GDP growth, high employment, low inflation, and a stable balance of payment accounts. These are the major goals of economic planning. Kwame, you go to the one. So let's see. Another reason is right use and conservation of natural resources. Okay. Another reason for economic planning is right use and conservation of natural resources. When we say conservation of natural resources, it means that sometimes the government may develop, discover a particular resource, but we will not be in a hurry to go and exploit or probably dig for them. We need to wait. We need to put policies in place. Are people within that particular vicinity going to be affected? What do we do to compensate them? But if you give it to a private individual, he doesn't care. He's doing that for his money, and you go ahead and do it, even if people will die. You get it? So if you don't plan the economy, some of these right use and conservation of natural resources cannot be done. Right? So it's important. It's very basic that we do that. Then economic planning also leads to less inequality in the distribution of wealth and income. It leads to less inequality in the distribution of wealth and income. So what do we mean? What we are trying to say is that in terms of economic growth or economic planning, we need to do what? We need to focus on inequality. But if you leave it to the hands of the private individuals, I'm telling you, people will die. They don't care. People, you can die of hunger. It is not their problem. You get it? But government needs to intervene and regulate some of these activities. Right. So the question says 4. At least I've given like 7. You should be able to state them and explain as well. All right. Very important. Then question 8 says, state and explain 4 reasons why the poor in society. What?
Can we go over the 7? I'm going to go over the 7. What he did there?
The thing is being recorded. Okay, so I'll do this. I'll put them on the page. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
We are saying that somebody is asking if I can go over. I don't know which point.
No, that's the point that we mentioned for the.
Sir, please. The thing is being recorded, so let's move on so that
the
person can listen to it, because the time is also moving.
Yes, the time is moving. Some people are at the cafe. Somebody called me that he's at the cafe, and the cafe owner says he wants to close by 8:45. You have no idea.
I shall.
Let's see. State and explain 4 reasons why the poor in society are regarded as agents of environmental degradation. Why do you think the poor in society are usually considered as agents of environmental degradation?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
I think they solely depend on the environment for their survival.
Okay. They depend on the environment for their survival. So does that make them agents of environmental degradation?
Sir, I think with respect to this one, they cause more harm than good, because they hinder development in the sense that they don't save much and they will invest smart so that production can go on, GDP can go, things will move on. They rather take from the government, and so that is why we usually see that they are affecting society.
I equally say that since most of them live on farming, they abuse the land
Hello.
for their survival.
All right. So yes. Yeah.
So, I also think since most of them are uneducated.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah, class. Oh, the
I think since most of them are uneducated. Hey.
Hey, Azemo. Hey, hurry up. I want to go home. I'm still in the office. I want to go home. Countryman so go because the chacha professional.
Where's the issues?
So let's see. The countries, the question says, why are the poor considered as agents of environmental degradation? One, they don't have access to money to engage in clean production. You get it? Inaccessibility to credit. You are poor. You cannot go for a loan from a bank. Therefore, you prefer to use the traditional system of doing everything, like farming. Okay, so one reason is that the poor do not have access to credit. Okay. Two, low dependent on traditional system of farming, which tends to harm the environment. Dependent on traditional system of farming, which tends to harm the environment.
Energy drink, Anna.
No, oh no, water. Dependent on traditional system of farming, which tends to harm the environment. And then you can also talk about over-exploitation of the environment. Okay, they are poor. The land they are probably their parents bequeathed to them. That's what they depend on. That's what they farm on almost every year. They don't have money to go and buy a different land. So the land is over-exploited. You get that argument? Good. So they will definitely be agents of the government. Then, I mean, yes. I mean, basically, some of these things should be fine. Okay. Then we just explain something like over-exploitation. Because they are poor, they may not have the ability to negotiate for new land. Therefore, they regularly continue to farm on the same existing land, which tends to reduce the nutrient capacity to produce more on a large scale. All right. I mean, basically, this should work. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, sir, please, if I may have, so with this question, are you first of all going to define environmental degradation? Then with
You should
respect to
define
this-
it.
Okay.
Yes, you should define environmental degradation. Okay.
Okay.
The pollution of the environment or the reduction in the land's productivity based on human activities. You get it, those kind of stuff. And then you can also talk about poverty a bit, okay, using maybe the monometric measure. WHO or World Bank will say that if you are not able to have access to $1.25 per day, you are considered poor. Okay, in terms of poverty, we have relative poverty and absolute poverty. Relative absolute poverty means is when an individual does not have access to basic social amenities like food, shelter, clothing. I mean those things. Then relative poverty is when an individual compared to other group is considered poor, right? Is considered poor. And so you look at some of these things, and you should be able to make a very solid argument in favor of what you want to put across.
Sir, please,
Okay.
I want to ask something.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, about this Galamsey issues.
Mm-hmm.
Those behind the Galamsey are the big men, those who has money, but the poor are the ones in the field doing the Galamsey. So these two are the rich men who are degrading the land, or are they are the poor ones, because they are pushing them to do. So how can we explain? Like, maybe it's not part of the question, but I just want to have a fair idea about.
Yes, but the issue is that usually the land is owned by people, farmers, and these are the people who actually sell the land to the farm. I remember, I think somewhere in June, one assemblyman called me that some Chinese people want to come and buy my father's land, and he is leading them. What? They want to take 5,000 for almost 3 acres of land. I told him, my friend, leave the land alone. You get it? Okay. So, I mean, some of these things, yes, the poor are people who they sell the land at cheaper prices to the farmer, to the Galamsey people, or to the rich men, and the rich men exploit it. You get it? So, but this question actually doesn't relate to that. You should just focus on how the poor continuously depend on the environment to the extent of deterioration to their own detriment. Okay, and so that's what the focus should be. But let's go to question 9. I think my time is almost up. Briefly discuss the main features of Todaro model on rural-urban migration. How relevant is this model to the contemporary rural-urban migration patterns in sub-Saharan Africa? What does the Todaro model say? Yes, Todaro on rural-urban migration. What does it say? Okay, so basically, the Todaro model tries to examine the differences in wages between the rural and the urban settlers. You get it? So it says that people living in the rural areas tend to engage more in agricultural activities. Now, these agricultural activities have surplus labor. Okay, they have surplus labor. Hear me, that they have so many people there, that the agriculture is choked. So it pays small amount of money. Once it is paying small, there is something we need to do. What can we do? The only thing we can do is to push the surplus labor to the industrial sector. So the Aristotle model actually look at surplus labor in the agri sector, and the agri sector or agricultural activities are actually practiced in the rural areas. So if the agri sector has surplus labor, and then when it comes to the urban sector, where industries or companies are springing up on almost on a regular basis, the surplus labor from the agri sector must move to the urban sectors where there's agricultural activities. Okay, so once it's moving towards the agricultural, it's moving towards the urban places, there'll be what? Migration. So that's the rural urban migration. And in recent times, it is true. When it comes to recent times, if you compare development in the north to development in the southern part of Ghana, people migrate from the north to the south simply because, one, The main reason is economic reason. They want to make money. They want to make income. Okay, there's surplus labor there. There's surplus labor in the northern part of Ghana. They move to Accra, do Okada, they make money and do remittances. They send money back home. You get it? So this is one of the major reasons why most people migrate from the rural areas to the urban areas. You get it? So the Aristotle model talks about two sectors in an economy: the agri sector and the industrial sector. The agri sector is located in the rural communities. The industrialized or the urban sector has the companies and businesses in the urban sector of the country. So what another thing is that the agri sector has surplus labor, that it is choked. There are so many people there. Okay, there are so many people in the agri sector, which has what? Which comes with lower amount of wages. But the industrial sector, which is now springing up, has few number of people. Okay, so once people migrate, they come to the industrial sector to work, but they come with low skills. Therefore, they are not paid well. But as they pick up to engage or probably go to school and those things, they are now being paid well. And then, so as they are being paid well, they send remittances home, which tends to attract more people to come to the south. Okay, so that kind of social bonding. Because my uncle traveled to Accra and he sent me money and he is requesting that I come and join him to work and make more money for the family, then I also migrate. Okay. So these are some of the arguments in favor of the Todaro model. But I mean, there are so many explanations to this. So please just make sure you are reading the slide on this. It just basically divides the economy into two: the agric and the industrial. The agric is located in the rural communities where there is surplus labor. Okay, in the urban centers where the industries are springing up, there are few people working in them. Therefore, people tend to, the surplus labor will migrate. Okay, will migrate into the urban areas of the economy, and so those kind of stuff, right? So we don't have to struggle to explain them.
So,
Any question?
sir, yes, please. Sir, please, the question was in two folds. One
Mhm.
was about
How
the
relevant?
characteristics of,
Yes.
yes.
How relevant is this to contemporary? Yes. One, in terms of infrastructure, they are located in the industrial areas. Okay. So people tend to migrate to enjoy some of this infrastructure, like schools, health care, and even sporting activities. Okay, all these are located in the developed places, and so people tend to migrate in order to come and enjoy them as well, right? So that is what the Todaro model actually speaks about. Then question 10. What is child labor? What is child labor? Don't go and say a child who is trying to give birth. That's not child labor. Please. When we talk about child labor,
That is child abuse.
it is when, not necessarily child abuse, when children below the age of are used for economic activities, we call that child labor. And once it is interfering with the education of the child, once it is interfering with the education of the child, we consider that child labor. Okay. 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 So that is what is child. Then in what ways is child labor development challenge to economies? Why do you think child labor is a problem to Africa? Yeah, this one you should be able to say something. Why is child labor a problem? Yes. Why is child labor a problem? Please, why is child labor a problem?
Okay, so I will say that it affects the development of our labor system
Yes.
as in our
Yes, it affects the development of even the child, him or herself, because the child will use schooling hours to work. He grows up with no skills, no education, and becomes irresponsible, right? So that is one thing. And another thing is that labor productivity becomes low in future because the children are forced to work at this stage. They don't go to school. They have no skills, no training, no education. They become what? Productivity in future will be low. And so in Africa, we consider that as a problem. And then health-wise, there are children onto the Lake Volta to go and fish. Okay, and they die. Some of them die as a result of the, accident on the sea and those kind of stuff. They die. Some of them get drowned and they die. Okay, so it makes it a big challenge for Africa, right? So at least you're able to state three. You should be able to get your point and your facts right, and it shouldn't be a problem solving them. Is there anyone with any problem contribution you want to make? All right, this class is recorded, so you don't have any issue. You should be able to get,
sir, please
get them.
I would like to ask a general.
The reason why a lot of people normally don't get good score in essay questions, you have to talk a little bit about what you are coming to write on. Okay, before you start listing, you don't go jump straight and start listing your point. And you should be able to state your point, make your argument, back it with fact. That is why you need to take your time with females outnumbering the number of males in Ghana. So please, we should be able to do that. We should be able to do that. Okay. We should be able to do that. It shouldn't be a big deal at all. At least introduce the concept we are talking about before you go to the point. That should give you even half a page before you even start going to the. And please be quick. Maybe the paper will be 2 hours, 30 minutes. I'll ask Dr. Fumi hopefully tomorrow. So you let me know. So be quick. Don't waste a lot of time. I think he's going to give like 6 questions. You are going to answer 3. Please be quick. For 50 marks. And statistics in your work will come with 5 additional points.
Bonus, then 5 bonus.
From my side will be 50 score for continuous assessment, class participation, and the IA you did. Okay. I'm going to send him the 50 score, hopefully tomorrow, so that immediately after the exams, he can compile it and give you the final verdict. So please do well to participate.
Sir, please, we didn't see our scores.
I intentionally decided to hide it to avoid problems of I did tomorrow. All right. So it's getting late. It's almost 9 o'clock. I need to be going home. So hopefully we can continue the discussion on the class page. Make sure you come out with the solid point we've discussed. Make sure you are able to write the essays very well. Please don't relax.
Sir.
The battle is not yet over. So do well to yes, please.
Please, since we can meet on Zoom, can't we do another one before the exams?
We can have a discussion. Okay, we can have another discussion on Zoom for the sake of those of the students outside Accra, so that they can also benefit. Because I know a lot of people are doing the This, okay. So please, let's keep learning. You see, the question, I'm sure somebody hasn't even gone to Sakai to check these questions Dr. Fumi himself gave them in your essay. Okay, you put them in your essay, right? And I pray that everybody gets the grade he or she is requesting for and deserves as well. So please, let's keep learning. Don't stop. Let's keep trying. Google, you have the questions already. He has sent it to you. Out of these many questions, he's going to bring 6. You answer 3. Pick the ones you are very comfortable and conversant with to solve. Okay, don't go and select any question you can't have points to write and bring headache to yourself. All right, that's why sometimes they say examination favors the fool. They will just go and pick the questions they can do. There's somebody who go and pick questions to read, getting to the point they don't even understand. Then they start writing quick answer stories on them. If you do that, and Dr. Fumi call me that this student didn't write anything, and what, I'll come to your house. I'll come to your house and insult you and go back home.
Okay,
Please.
thank you, sir. Thank
So
you, sir.
please, do well to learn, get the facts right. What we discussed, I'm not sure it should be a problem for you to write an essay, please. So hopefully on Saturday. So I will leave you for you to gather some facts on the questions tomorrow, because I have another meeting with level 400 students, and then on Saturday, God willing, we'll have a discussion on what you have learned so far, and then still solidify the points before you write the exams. Right?
Thank you.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
I bet the person who now the bid of 1.5, they will send me the code. Make a check the lecture.
Chacha professional.